John Wayne's saddest night on Johnny Carson. The studio lights were bright that night, but John Wayne looked tired. He walked onto the stage slowly, wearing his familiar suit and carrying that same unmistakable presence that had made him a legend. The audience stood and applauded. Johnny Carson smiled and welcomed him. "Duke, it's good to see you." John Wayne smiled back. "Good to be here, Johnny." The audience laughed softly, but Johnny noticed something different in Wayne's eyes. For a few moments, they talked about movies, horses, old westerns, and the characters Wayne had played throughout his long career. The audience laughed whenever Wayne made a joke. But then Johnny asked a simple question. "After all these years, do you ever think about the things you left behind?" Wayne became quiet. The smile disappeared. He looked down at his hands. "More than I used to," he finally said. The studio became strangely silent. Wayne spoke about the passing years, not as a movie star, but as a man who had watched friends disappear, watched children grow up, and watched the world he knew slowly change. "I played a lot of tough guys," he said, "but being tough doesn't mean you don't miss people." Johnny listened without interrupting. Wayne continued. "You can ride a horse across 1,000 miles in a picture. You can fight 20 men on screen. You can survive anything the script throws at you." He paused. "But real life doesn't always give you a script." The audience was completely silent. Wayne looked toward Johnny. "The hardest part of getting older isn't getting older yourself." Johnny asked softly, "What is it?" Wayne swallowed. "It's realizing there are people you would give anything to talk to again, and you can't." Johnny lowered his eyes. For once, the comedian had nothing funny to say. Wayne leaned back in his chair. "I've said goodbye to a lot of good people." His voice became quieter. "Sometimes you think you're ready for it. You tell yourself that's just the way life works." He looked toward the audience. "But when you're alone at night..." He stopped. His eyes became wet. "That's when you remember their voices." The audience sat frozen. Wayne wiped his eye quickly, almost embarrassed. Then he smiled. "Don't print that part tomorrow," he joked. A few people laughed through their tears. Johnny smiled gently. "I think the audience already heard it, Duke." Wayne nodded. For a moment, two old entertainers simply sat there under the studio lights. No movie. No cowboy. No hero. Just two men talking about time. Before the segment ended, Johnny asked him one final question. "If you could go back and change one thing in your life, what would it be?" Wayne thought for a long time. Then he answered, "I'd spend more time with the people I loved." Johnny looked at him. Wayne continued, "When you're young, you think tomorrow belongs to you." He paused. Then one day you wake up and realize tomorrow was never promised. The audience applauded softly. Wayne stood. Johnny shook his hand. The two men looked at each other for a moment longer than usual. Wayne turned toward the audience. The applause grew louder. He smiled that famous John Wayne smile one last time before walking away from the desk. The lights followed him as he disappeared backstage. And Johnny remained sitting there quietly. For once, there was no punchline. Only silence. Because behind the legendary cowboy was a man who had spent his life pretending. He was never afraid of goodbye. But that night, under the bright lights of the Carson show, John Wayne reminded everyone of something painfully human. Even the strongest heroes eventually have to face the things they cannot defeat: time, memory, and goodbye.